Hello, fellow old schoolers. We have some technical difficulties with all the games from the recent tournament from the Swiss and the top 8. So while we're waiting for that to get fixed, we have some more kitchen table games here just to keep us entertained. And the match for today is between two very typical archetypes, two titans of the old school scene, especially a few years ago. It is Erhnam-Geddon coming up against Disco Trolls. And these two tournament decks used to be some widespread tournament archetypes just about 2 or 3 years ago, at least where I'm from. But lately they've kind of fallen out of favor, it seems. We don't see them that much anymore. But it is a great matchup, I feel. So we've just brewed some up and we'll get some games in. So I'll go over the deck archetypes in a bit here, and if these archetypes things are not your thing, I'll put down a timestamp below, and you can go to that particular timestamp for the match itself. And the first contender here is Erhnam-Geddon. At its core, it's a green and white deck, taking its name from the Erhnam-Geddons, a very efficient creature from Arabian Nights that actually saw a reprint in Chronicles, so it is not that expensive to get in the reprint, at least. It's a 4/5 creature for 4 mana, which is very, very nice for an old school creature, with the drawback that it will provide Forest Walk to a creature of opponent's each turn. It has that creature in combination with the Erhnam-Geddon that destroys all lands in play. And the Erhnam-Geddon is built around this combination. So it has a lot of fast mana that is non-land based. So you have like Llanowar Elves and Birds of Paradise, as long with the artifact mana like Sol Ring and Moxen and stuff like that, just to sort of bounce back from an Erhnam-Geddon faster than the opponent. Then it makes use of land tax as well, that makes it recover even faster from an Erhnam-Geddon. It's an white enchantment for 1 mana that can, if you have more or less lands, if you have less lands than your opponent, you can look through your deck each upkeep and pick 3 basic lands and put them into your hand. And so you can just do that before an Erhnam-Geddon, or you can do it after an Erhnam-Geddon and just bounce straight back. The land tax also has the added benefit that it works very well with the Sylvan Library that the Erhnam-Geddon deck uses as well. Because it provides that shuffle effect each turn, usually with a Sylvan Library that makes you pick one of the top 3 cards in your library each turn to draw. Well, it kind of ends up with having 2 bad cards and then just hoping for the 3rd card to be worth putting into your hand. But with that land text, you can just shuffle your deck each turn, so get 3 new cards to pick from each round. From that, you can go in 3 ways with the Erhnam-Geddon overall, I feel. The first one is having a very low mana curve and just casting Erhnam-Geddon a lot, and then using 7 Alliance and Egothian Pixies along with those Erhnam-Geddons, just try to rush the other guy down with all the fast critters and the mana destruction. The other way is a bit more mid-rangey, where you go with like 4 Erhnam-Geddons, 4 Serra Angels, and various big mid-range beaters, and trying to like punch face with those with your quick mana ramp, getting like an Erhnam-Geddon or Serra Angel out and then casting Erhnam-Geddon. That's a very viable choice as well, and there are no right and wrong answers here. I've seen both deck archetypes go very far and also win tournaments, so both work. A third way is to add blue in it. Then we call it Bantam-Geddon. And blue allows access to Energy Fluxen that will just crush artifact mana, so that will make the Erhnam-Geddons that much more powerful, right? And your own mana creatures, they won't be bothered at all by an Energy Flux. Obviously, it also provides access to the blue power, Ancestral Recall and Time Walk in particular, but also the Time Twister if you feel like it and if you own it. And then it provides some extra reach with the Psionic Blast for some burn effect. You can even put in 4 Serendipity Ifrits if you're feeling particularly frisky and aren't very much afraid of City in a Bottle. Well, you can have 4 Ifrits and 4 Djinns in that deck along with the Serra Angels and just go to town. So But if you do that, if you put blue in it, you don't have access to the land text anymore because most of your lands are dual lands, and you'll be much more vulnerable to blood moons. So no land text Sylvan Library combination in that brew. So yeah, there are benefits and drawbacks to each choice, but all of them are very efficient decks and certainly up there in the tournament scene. The brew we've made here is just the core, just really the archetypical Erhnam-Geddon, just the green and white core. And then we've gone for a bit of a hybrid here. We have Savannah Lions in it, and we also have a couple of Sarah Angels. So it has both quick aggro creature pressure, and it also has some big fat beaters just to curve out into. It's coming up against Disco Trolls. Now, the Disco Troll deck is at its core a red and black deck. And like with the Erhnam-Geddon, you can splash blue into it as well. That's a pretty common occurrence. And it has some similarities with the Erhnam-Geddon deck, actually. Both decks are named after the two main cards. With the Erhnam-Geddon, it's the Erhnam-Geddon and the Armageddon. With the Disco Trolls, it's the Sedge Troll and the Nevinyrral's Disc. And both decks makes use of a board wipe like this to gain control of the board and to gain card advantage in some way, but also be able to bounce back from that board wipe, that catastrophe, better than the opponent. So where the Erhnam-Geddon makes use of the Armageddon, you have the Nevinyrral's Disc here, and the Armageddon will destroy all lands, and the Nevinyrral's Disc will destroy, well, almost everything but lands. So with a fight with these two guys, sometimes the board state is just completely obliterated at some point, and it's just a matter of who can recover the fastest. So yeah, after playing a disc and using it, the Disco Troll will regenerate his Sedge Trolls. Sometimes he makes use of Earthen Trolls. And if it's a particular defensive brew, you can make use of Will-o'-the-Wisps as well for added defense. Mazes of Ith is a very nice card in this deck as well, because it isn't destroyed by the Nevinyrral's Disc, first of all. And it also, well, when you drop it, the opponent has to drop even more creatures just to overwhelm your Maze of Ith, and then you can just crack them all when you drop a Nevinyrral's Disc. So that's a pretty common occurrence as well. And if you're feeling rather spicy, it can make use of Rook Eggs as well. It's a 0/3 egg that just stands there like a wall, but if it gets destroyed, it becomes a 4/4 flying counter. It's a rook, a bird that's birthed from that egg. So you can either block with it and crack it that way, or you can just after you've activated your Nevinyrral's Disc, the rook will be birthed and can attack the other guy. Now, this might not be the most efficient way to brew a Disco Troll deck, but what it perhaps lacks in efficiency, it certainly makes up in style, I feel. So we've added 3 rook eggs to this particular brew that you're about to see here. So you can go several ways with the Disco Troll deck as well. Overall, there are 2 main strategies. Either you go the burn route, that means that you stock up on lightning bolts and fireballs and just try to rush and burn the other guy down and it also provides additional removal. You can also pack that with Hypnotic Spectres as well, actually. The other route is a bit more control-ish, where you instead of going with the bolts and the fireballs, you go with the counter spells and mana drain, and then it becomes a bit more control-ish. Both decks work just fine. It's just a matter of temperament and what you prefer. There's a third way, I feel, and that's going a bit more Ponza style, where you just go on with Blood Moons and a lot of Sinkhole, Stone Rains, perhaps even a Nether Void, and just really trying to crack the other guy's mana. And because the disc will also destroy his artifact mana and his birds and etc. And then you can just attack from all angles here. So that's the third approach. We've made a bit of a hybrid here between burn and land destruction, or Ponza. And the reason for that is just because that we have other disc controls on the channel, but they are mostly the control variant of it. So we wanted to try something different here. So yeah, this deck is packing, along with the Sedge Trolls and the Rook Eggs, it's packing Lightning Bolts, Fireballs, Stone Rains and Sinkholes, just to see what happens. So yeah, that is the matchup for today. Let's see how it plays out. And we have the disc control player on the Lotus playmat, and as a roll-off with the Erhnam-Geddon on the Albo Electric Eels playmat here. And I think the Erhnam-Geddon just won that one, so he's on the play. Starting off with a Savannah here, and a Mox. What? And then Erhnam-Geddon turn 1 with a Black Lotus and a Mox, and there's also a Burst of Paradise. What a start from him here. A lot of mana and already a 4/5 creature on the go here. And we don't have any Swords to Plowshares from the Disco Trolls player. It would be nice with a Mace of Ith, but there could be actually an there could be an Armageddon next turn, so Disco Troll player just straight up bolts the bird immediately. It's a Savannah Lion though. Would perhaps be better to just keep back with that bolt at this point. Okay, here they come, 6 damage. Down to 10 life here. Yeah, and the disc control player, he is black, red and blue, with just a splash for the blue power, perhaps a Brain Geyser as well, and Sonic Blasts. Library of Alexandria coming out here, but I don't think the Erhnam-Geddon has that many cards in hand left. I think he would likely play an Armageddon as quickly as possible, even without the bird. He still has a Mox and he'll likely seal the deal with that. Okay, so coming over 6 damage here. Now, do you block with a Factory here? That's the question. It has Summoning Sickness. I think... So, yeah, but if you don't... Yeah, you just do it, but it gets disenchanted. So coming in for 6 points of damage, bringing the disc control player down to 4. Yeah, okay, he had Sonic Blasts in hand, couldn't play them. And that's that 5 in toughness on the Erhnam-Geddon, just makes it invulnerable to that. And Erhnam-Geddon takes the first one. Without Swords to Plowshares in the deck, it becomes really difficult to handle a first turn Erhnam-Geddon here. You can play with City in a Bottle after sideboard if you want to. I don't think we have sideboarded here, but the disc control player, he has Maces of Ith in that deck, so there are answers at least just to survive the early game until the disc can come out. But as the Erhnam-Geddon, he has both Lightning, Disenchants and Swords to Plowshares in his deck, so he can handle both the trolls and the discs. Okay, getting a Volcanic Island out here. The Mox again, and a Pendle Haven might as well. It provides +1/+2 to a 1/1 creature, and so it can pump like a Llanowelf like this, and it can also provide green mana. So it's like a Forest Tutor here. Has a blue mana up, so likely an Ancestral Recall here, right? I suppose you could go for a Mind Twist as well. If you have a land drop, you can Mind Twist for 3 next turn, but it will take a full turn, full turn's mana. Yeah, Ancestral Recall immediately. Just restocking that hand. Okay, Black Lotus coming down here, and Time Walking. Okay, yeah, so now you can get a 4th land drop. We are within Minerals Disc territory at this point. Really pulling ahead with all those restricted cards out of the Disco Trolls player. Factory coming down. Now Lightning Bolting. Oh, and Stone Raiding the Pendle Haven. Okay. So really a punchback from Disco Trolls. Getting out of Llanowelf and another Savannah Lion here. It's really hard to Mana Starve and an Erhnam-Geddon player. Wanting to play a volcanic island here, but thinking better of it, I suppose. Strip mining the forest. Okay, going for the mana starvation here. Okay, there's a set troll. It's a 2/2 creature. Gets +1/+1 if there's a swamp in play. Gets Swords to Plowshare though. Could regenerate with the swamp untapped, but yeah. Can't regenerate from a Swords to Plowshares. So getting 3 life, taking 3 points of damage. That's still at 20 points of life for the Disco Troll here. And another troll comes lumbering out of the swamp here. Picking on the bones. So he can actually block everything, but he could. Now he's Swords to Plowshare as well. This is a defending factory though, because yeah, kept a swamp and a factory untapped just in case. Now sinkholing the factory. There's a lot of land destruction so far out of the Disco Troll player, but I suppose just a single Erhnam-Geddon will just equalize here. And actually get rid of the factory as well. So I think, okay, land tax, that's pretty nice as well. He has no lands, so next turn he can just start to get some basic lands into his hand. Lightning bolting the Savannah Lion. Okay, now he can attack with the factory, coming over for 2 points of damage here. And when I see he, I mean me. I'm playing the Disco Troll deck in this particular match. And we have Jens Ole on the left here on Erhnam-Geddon, getting a couple of forests and a plains here for the land tax. So yeah, that just renders all that work with that land destruction kind of moot. But I suppose it has postponed it a bit. He needs to get those lands out just to drop anything. Now, okay, attacking with the factory gets disenchanted immediately here. Okay, activating the land tax again. Really just restocking on the basic lands. And without the factory, there are no offensive capabilities left from the Disco Troll at this point. And the elf can just attack if he wants to. Another elf. Okay, coming over for the poke with the single elf. Passing the turn, I think. Yeah, passing the turn right back. Back to Erhnam-Geddon here. Now, look at this, his mana. He has 6 mana, 7 mana now, even after losing all those mana to the land destruction spells. So that land tax and the Lano Elves just really makes him bounce back from land destruction, as he should. I think I should probably keep back with the land destruction spells just to crack Pendelhaven and factories only. Now a troll coming over for 3 damage here. The third troll. So does he have the 4th Swords to Plowshares? Okay, counterattacking with the elves, getting bolted, putting down a factory. Now he can't really pump himself yet. Ooh, Braingeyser for 4. Has made a land drop though. It was that swamp. But it might just make the Disco Troll player pull ahead here. He's used so many restricted cards at this point. Okay, a Relic Barrier. That's a seldom seen card out of the Erhnam-Geddon deck, but put that in there and it can lock down some artifacts. Can tap with no cost just to tap an artifact. I think he could have tapped the Mox Ruby actually. Storing the factory here. I mean, he could have tapped the Ruby in my upkeep and I wouldn't have been able to use it in my main phase. But he needs an answer for that troll. Doesn't have one yet. Now he should use it. No, he doesn't choose to. Right, troll comes lumbering over. An elf suicides. Just jumping in the way of the troll, getting trampled. Chaos Orb coming down here. Not choosing to use it yet. Yeah. Gives it a good think, and then my end step, he taps my Chaos Orb. Now I can't use it if, as a response, if he plays like Dust to Dust or other sorceries on it. It's a bit of a dilemma. I think it was actually a misplay to play the Chaos Orb here. Choosing to play it though, or activate it. Now I'm thinking about what to pick. I'm picking the Emerald because I don't want him to have that after Erhnam-Geddon. Okay, secure flip, getting rid of it. Because he can use that to get more mana bursts out. Ooh, he has a balance in hand. So that's why he blocked with the elf so early. Yeah, here it comes. So yeah, that's pretty brutal. Getting rid of the troll. I have to go down to 2 lands as well. And he can tap the ruby. Now he plays a forest. No, yeah, a forest and a bird, and then tap. Now he starts to tap the ruby in my upkeep. Oh, then he remembers he should discard a card. Fair enough. Yeah, we're counting it up here. Because of the balance, I had 1 less card in hand than he had. So, balance this out. We have 1 of each dual land in the deck. But there's a Llanowar Elf. Tapping the ruby again. That's a rook egg. That's nice. You'll keep the elf back. You can't crack through that eggshell. Oh, but that's an Erhnam-Geddon. That can crack the egg. And even the rook, even though it's a 4/4, it won't be able to fight the Erhnam-Geddon. Yeah, he taps. He taps the ruby in my upkeep again. Getting down our library, I don't think I have enough cards in hand at all to use it. Then passing the turn. Now, does he attack here? That's the question. I think he should. Probably attack with both the elf and the Erhnam-Geddon. Another relic barrier though. Okay, he doesn't choose to attack, just tapping the ruby. That surprises me actually. Okay, fireballing the Erhnam-Geddon away. I suppose he didn't want to crack the egg to get a 4/4 rook, but I think he could have rushed me down for 5 points of damage each turn. But I suppose he knows that I play with lightning bolts and fireballs, so didn't want to risk it. Yeah, that's actually a Chaos Orb proxy. We are having so many decks used now that it's an unglued. It's a particular, version of the Chaos Orb. Thought about that like a proxy. Okay, he targets my Library of Alexandria. He asked how many cards I had in hand. I had 5 cards in hand. So at this point, he just didn't want to risk it. Just getting rid of that Library of Alexandria before I can get any use out of it. Then passing the turn. At his end step, I think I'm Sonic Blasting. No, I'm doing it. I drew into that Sonic Blast, doing it in my main phase. Sonic Blasting my own rook egg. I think the disc control deck should actually play with Chain Lightning instead of Lightning Bolts. Instead of Sonic Blasts, I think. There's a disc though. I turned too late. It would have been much greater just to activate it and crack the egg and get rid of all those mana creatures there. But there's a 4/4 bird counter flying around. Okay, he chooses to tap both the disc and the mox, and I don't activate the disc yet. Have a Mace of Earth. Okay, coming over with the bird, he just Swords to Plowshares it. Now, if he has a disenchant, he should disenchant that disc ASAP, because there's no reason for me not to use it if I can get to untap it here. I mean, I'll lose some mox, but that's fine. Passing the turn. Yeah, okay. So he tried to tap the Mox Ruby and the Mineral's Disc, and I just tapped the Ruby to activate the disc in response, getting rid of everything here. now trying to crack his mana again. Sinkholing a plains, but this is Savannah and another mana bird, so good luck trying to mana starve me, says the Erhnam-Geddon. Factory coming out of the disc controls, but there's a blocking Savannah Lion. Getting Sonic blasted though. So the factory will have a field day now. Activating, getting over 2. Just the planes coming out. And the land tax. He has 4 mana though. I have 5. 6 lands actually. So he can use the land tax, I suppose. I have 7 lanes. Yeah, he can. Playing a Sol Ring here. He doesn't seem to be using the land text though. Wait, just swinging each turn, bringing him down to 6 life here. And another rook. Rook egg. Yeah, but the reason I would play with Chain Lightning instead is because you can bounce it. You can shoot your rook and then you can play 2 red mana to bounce the Chain Lightning further into the opponent. So you get a 2 for 1. Getting a rook out and by blasting your own rook egg and then shooting him for 3. It's a classical usage of Chain Lightning. Attacking with the factory here, blocks with the bird. He's down to 4 life, so he needs to find an answer pretty soon. Looking through his graveyard. He might have a regrowth here. I think he has. It gives it a good think here. Okay, yeah, casting regrowth. Getting a disenchant up on his hand. He's just to like have an answer against that factory. If I attack again, he'll just disenchant and he has mana up for it. But I choose to attack anyway. Disenchanting it, I'm mana drained the disenchant, then he has to block with the that poor elf right there. Ooh, and a disc coming out. Now we can crack that and get another rook out. Erhnam-Geddon coming down. Really? Okay, but I'll just disc it, won't I? I wonder why he did that. Oh, it's only lands in hand. Just anticipating the Armageddon at some point, I suppose. Now attacking with the factory. I think that's just a flex, actually. There's no reason to do that. I think I'm just teasing him. And if not, it's a huge misplay by me. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, cracking it. He has an Armageddon, and he also has lands. So, alright, getting in with the rook for 4 points of damage here. It's a 1-1 at this point. And the next few cards, Mind Twist, Lightning Bolt, and the Badlands. If I had Mind Twisted him, it would only be lands I got. Match number 3, and the final match of this set. So as said, it is, yeah, they're pretty evenly matched actually. I would think the Erhnam-Geddon was a slight favorite though, because he has those Sorcerer Plowshares. Oh, he has the mulligan here. Oh, because he has the Sorcerer Plowshares against the various regenerating creatures, and he has disenchants to handle the discs. But I suppose that the discs is just brutal against him because it sort of just stops his main strategy, because it will crack all his non-land mana. So perhaps it balances out in some way. Okay, keeping the second hand here. He's on the draw, or on the play, I mean. Mox and an elf and a factory. Turn 1. Library coming down, drawing immediately into a Mox Ruby. So he needs an answer for that immediately. He got that going straight into a strip mine. Now a bird. He's a bit mana starved though. No, he isn't. We don't know that because the strip mine was the land drop, wasn't it? Underground Sea coming out of the disc control. Still nothing happening there. attacking with the elf. Taking it. Another bird coming down. Okay, at his end step, that's an ancestral recall though, so the disc control player is well ahead in cards, but not ahead in mana. Factory coming down. Sol Ring coming down. No. Now, I need to remind you, we're probably a bit tipsy here, and this is not a tournament, so takebacks are a-okay. So, okay, taking the factory back, then playing it again. Lotus coming down here. Now I'm mind twisting his hand. Source to Plowshare and Erhnam-Geddon. Now I'm time walking. Okay, so that's why. Now I can attack with the factory. Yep, because I have the other factory, so I can pop my factory into a 3/3. See if he wants to trade here. I'm fine with that because he only has a single land. And I can bolt or fireball those mana creatures. I don't know how many fireballs I play with here. I know I play with at least one because I fireballed an Erhnam-Geddon in this previous match. Okay, he counterattacks with the elf. And then he balances. Okay, yeah, it is. It's just decimating us both. Okay, I bolt him as a fast respect. Now I'm losing my entire hand. It was full of lands though. And he loses all his mana creatures. And I lose all but one land. But look at that. I have a Mox and a Sol Ring though. Attacking with my factory. Now I'm attacking him. You think I'm bluffing here, but I actually have a bolt. So I bolt his factory in response and get in for 2. That's a Lotus though. Sapphire coming down, attacking, cracks the Lotus for 3 white mana, then Source to Plowshares the factory. Okay, so neither of us have anything at this point. There's a disc. Would be. Oh, if I played that, we'd be back to square one, wouldn't we? Everything would be gone. All lands, all artifacts. Now we're just top deck mode here, trying to get some mana and get going after all those breaks on the game from Erhnam-Geddons and stuff like that. Playing a Chaos Orb here. Stoning his single forest. Now this is a very brutal move. And then a Badlands. Now a tutor. Yeah, I should probably get a Mind Twist here. Oh, I think I've used that. No, I can't use that. And I think I've used the Ancestral Recall as well. And the library is gone. So what to pick here? Yeah, I'm going through my graveyard. Just in dismay. It's a bit frustrating. All the good cards are in the graveyard. They've been used just to get where we are now. I also think the Time Walk is there. Not that that would be an obvious pick. So I don't remember what I picked here. Must have picked something. So he draws a card, no mana yet. Pass the turn. So let's see what the demonic tutor taught me. Yeah, a Sedge Troll. I think that was the tutor target actually. When in doubt, just get more trolls. And he doesn't have any white mana, so he can't really Source to Plowshare it. Oh, but he drew into a Savannah here. Now, does he have a Source to Plowshares as well? He does have that Chaos Orb though, so I have to keep a black mana untapped all the time. Seems like there's a Disenchant in hand and a land, and perhaps, no, it can't be a land text. Perhaps it's a land text? It could be. Lumbering over with the troll, doing 3 points of damage because of that Badlands provides it +1/+1. So he's down to 7 points of life here. Then I draw into another troll. And a volcanic island, so now I can counter with a mana drain. Okay, so he activates the Chaos Orb at my end step here. It's actually pretty interesting because he tells me here that I have to put down a regeneration shield with a black mana before he uses the Chaos Orb and have to pick one of the trolls. I only have a single black mana source. It's sort of like the same where you have to shoot with the Triskelion before the Chaos Orb takes effect. So it just doesn't make any sense to do because he'll just target the other troll with whatever the other troll that the one that I don't put a regeneration shield on. So yeah, destroys it like that. So I Sonic Blast him at his end step though, putting him down to 3 life. So it just clicks and we get in for 3 here. Edging out a victory for the Disco Trolls here. 2-1. So pretty close match this one, and actually we had a 4th game that didn't get recorded because of yeah, I forgot to turn on the camera. I thought I did. So, and it was won by the Erhnam-Geddon in a long game. Would have wished we had all 4. So it is in the notebook, if you had one, it would be 2-2 here. Pretty damn close games these this matchup. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this blast from the past with some of the more popular decks on the tournament scene from a couple of years ago. And I'll be back with some more kitchen table magic in a bit.